course, there you've got the third biggest producer, Indonesia, 15%. And just on top of Indonesia, you've got Malaysia, also a very big producer. But from all the countries that I just named, more than 95% of the world production of cacao beans will come from there. And when you see those countries on the map of the world, well, you will see that the equator is passing in those countries, and it's very important. Now today they will plant those trees, and they will try to plant them as much as possible on the superior or higher trees. Because you need to avoid that those fruits come in contact with the sun. And when the tree is 4 to 5 years old, it will give their first fruits. And you can harvest twice a year. Now, they will never, when they arrive, they will never fall for themselves. They need to be cut off with machetes. It's a very intensive job. I will show you at the end a small documentary where you will be able to see how they do this. I can assure you, I wouldn't like to do it. But when they've got the pot, when they cut it up with a machete from the tree, they will let it rest for 1 day. A day later, with a machete, they will cut it open. But never too deep, otherwise you touch the beans inside. There is a nice picture of that pillar. I will take it because the people in the back are able to see it. Unless that, can you take? I will pass. Okay. Can you take it? Yeah, just take a picture from the yeah. Thank you. So here you see what is to be found inside of a pot. You see it's a white pulp. When you taste on that white pulp, it doesn't taste like chocolate. It tastes like fruit. It goes with a bit of a goodwill, it goes to the direction of a mango, but slightly bitter. So it's got a very special taste. And the white pulp is given to animals, to cattle, and you see inside, you see the shapes of the beans. There the beans are easily twice as big in comparison with this. Why is this? Because there is still a lot of humidity in it. When you bite here in it, you do not really taste chocolate. You taste a lot of white pulp. So we've got to do something. First of all, we need to ferment them. Afterwards, we need to dry them. You will also see this in the documentary. 2 weeks later, when they are fermented and dry, they will be like this, only 5% of humidity. And here, when you bite it, you've got a taste of chocolate. But as you were telling, I know it's not. You will not really like it. And that is what chipped in burlap bags, because burlap bags, well, humidity cannot pass. The biggest enemy of chocolate, as from the moment that the bean is dry, is water. When this falls in a glass of water, we cannot use it anymore. Here you see chocolate that we use afterwards to make pralines and so on of it. If I would take a glass of water and pour it in it, we cannot use it anymore. You can use it as a topping on a vanilla ice cream, that we call dame blanche. But you cannot use it anymore to make pralines or tablets because it will never be crunchy or crispy anymore. So the biggest enemy of chocolate is water. Now in those burlap bags, 20% will go to North America, especially in the United States, of course. A bit more than 60% of the beans come to Europe. There are several ports where beans arrive, but 3 major ones. Liverpool for the British market, and there is an enormous company in Britain, Cadbury's. Hamburg for the German market, and I'm told that Germany is the biggest producer. But the most important port of all is the one of Amsterdam. For all chocolates made in Belgium, also in France and so on, cacao beans arrive in Amsterdam. In the Netherlands, the port of Rotterdam is a lot bigger. Because also here in Antwerp, the port is a lot bigger than the one of Amsterdam. But Amsterdam's got a tradition for more than 100 years with cacao beans, so why not? And what do they do in Amsterdam? They would work with the cacao beans to obtain this. Cacao butter, cacao powder. And that's what they sell to many companies all over Europe. Also here to Belgium. In Belgium we only got 5 companies, 3 small ones, 2 big ones. The small ones, Galère, Belcolade and Cavalier, but that's made in Amsterdam. And then you've got 2 monsters on the Belgian market, Côte d'Or and Callebaut. Côte d'Or is 120 years old, so it's a small company. They've got their own plantations, Callebaut also. But they will work themselves. With the cacao beans, they will make themselves cacao butter, cacao powder. But Callebaut is the biggest of all. It's in American hands now. Callebaut, it's part of Campbell Foods, which is an enormous holding in alimentation, in fact. Well, Callebaut, they bought Callebaut, I believe, already 25 years ago. But Callebaut, they also got factories in the States, plants in the States, in Callebaut. But their main factory is 25 kilometers at the west of Brussels, in a small city called Alost, very known for carnival. Not like in Rio de Janeiro, of course, but very known in Belgium for carnival. And that's the biggest chocolate factory in the world. It's enormous. The village next to it, you smell 24/7, you smell chocolate. But, so if you don't like chocolate, go and live somewhere else. But, now, they propose already more than 300 sorts of chocolate. But in general, they will make chocolate for others. And what do I mean with this? If Belgium is known for chocolate, it thanks to brands like Godard, Neuhaus, Leonidas, Cornet, Jeff de Bruges, name it. You can go to any city in the world, you will find one or more of those shops. Well, those shops are what we call chocolate masters. They work with chocolate when the chocolate is already made. So most of them ask to Calabar to make the chocolate for them. And a big company like Leonidas, for instance, they've got more than 4,000 boutiques. Well, they will develop their own taste. They will say to Calabar, I need that sort of beans, I need that type of beans, I need that amount of sugar, that amount of milk powder. So they develop their own taste, but it will be Calabar to produce it for them. Making chocolate is something very complex, very difficult, if you want to make good chocolate. And then when the chocolate is ready, at Calabar, for instance, or they put it in tablet form, sell it to supermarkets, or it comes to people like us, chocolate masters, and we do plenty of things with it. We work in a banquet, bakery, patisserie with chocolate. We will make truffles of chocolate, but in Belgium we will absolutely make a Belgian specialty, which is the praline. And to understand the praline, we need to go to the 19th century. 19th century, well known as the industrial area, of course. Well, here in Brussels, did you visit Brussels before coming here? Or
no.
Are you going to do that?
Yes.
Well, here in the back is the Grand Place, the main square. You will see it's a fantastic square. A little bit further, you enter in a gallery. The Galerie Royale Saint-Hubert, which is a very old gallery already from 1847. But in 1857, 10 years later, a man came from Switzerland, from Neuchâtel to be precise, a very nice town in Switzerland. His name Neuhaus, and he opened there in the gallery not a chocolate shop, but a pharmacy. Today Neuhaus, his name was Neuhaus. Today Neuhaus is a chocolate shop on the same spot. But when you walk in the gallery and you pass by the chocolate shop, look inside. You will see that the cupboards are cupboards for an old pharmacy. So they prove that medication was sold there before. And it's only his son, Frederik Neuhaus, that something like 25 years later, he took the pharmacy over from his father, and he was one of the first ones here in Brussels to sell solid chocolate. Remember that? Before you were only drink chocolate. He became so successful that the people didn't go to the pharmacy anymore for medication, they went there for chocolate. It was something completely new to eat chocolate. And especially the women came. Why do you think? Because she liked it. But because in chocolate, some people still believe it today. They believe that there is some kind of an aphrodisiac. The more you eat from it, did you say it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I didn't say it.
I was looking to the women in the room that they were saying it. Now, is there an aphrodisiac in chocolate? Yes, there is, but there is a big problem. You need to eat 15 kilos of dark chocolate before having any sensation. So 30 pounds. It's impossible. Know that the Belgians eat on average 12 kilos and a half a year, a bit more than 25 pounds. But it's a bit more than 1 kilo a month. Only the Swiss do that. They eat 13 kilos a year. So, but all the countries are around on top of 10 kilos. France, Germany, in America it's United States 8 kilos a year. China it's 100 grams a year. So, for us it's good news. I mentioned that they want to open their market for our chocolate. If they go from 100 to 200 grams, what a market. So now, so if you want to try 15 kilos, do not do it. Your liver will explode. So, but it will be his son, so the grandson of the Swiss pharmacist, and his name was Jean Neuhaus. Well, he will invent in the year 1912, this year, 100 years ago, what we call the praline. And what is a praline? It is a mold of chocolate with inside a filling. And as a filling, you can use, for instance, a praline. But a praline is a hazelnut paste. So you can have praline with a praline. But in general, as a filling, we use a ganache. And a ganache is chocolate and cream. And there you add a taste, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. In the past, it was even chocolate cream and butter. But today, it's chocolate and cream. And there we add a taste. That's a thing that has been invented here in Brussels. Know that 100 years ago, there were many, many world fairs. Every 6 months in another city. It still exists today, but it became less important because with the means of communication that we got today, figures for sure internet, we know directly what happens in the rest of the world. 100 years ago, that was not the case. So many countries came to there to show what they were able to do, and the people, or the host, or the city, the people, they discovered the world on those world fairs. Well, one of the things that we Belgians brought were the praline. And it's since then that we've got an international reputation. It's been a fantastic chocolate country. Now to make praline, you need material, of course. The first molds were in metal. That's not ideal. First of all, it's quite heavy. Also, when it's a bit wet, it starts to become rusty. But the main inconvenience, when it's hot in the room, the mold will be hot. When it's cold in the room, the mold will be cold. And that's not what you want. You will understand directly why. Then we went very quickly, it didn't last very long. We went to the first type of industrial plastic. This is bakelite. Invented by a Belgian, of the city of Kent, Bakeland, but he lived also afterwards in the States. But he invented this. This is fantastic to use. We can still use it today. But the problem when this falls on the ground, there is a possibility to break. So we reinforce it with metal around, but always without metal. So that's why we do not use it anymore. So since some decades, we prefer to work with that type of plastic, polycarbonate. That's fantastic to use. It's very strong. So you cannot really break it, but it's very light, it's very easy to handle. And the main advantage is we don't need to clean it, and it's not because we are lazy. Sometimes we're now watching cycling, but what to do, like but it's on purpose that we do not clean. In chocolate is this, cacao butter, and the cacao butter will always leave a trace, a pellicle, and that will help us, one, to demold. To the mold more easy, but even more to have a more shiny chocolate. Because chocolate you do not only eat it with your mouth, you also eat it with your eyes. The more it's shiny, the more it's appealing, the more you want it. So that's why we keep the cacao butter here. Even more important is to work with the right temperature. Or in big companies like Leonidas, the chocolate arrives liquid in a van. So not here, of course. We've got a choice, or to buy big blocks, 5 kilograms. But here in the house Planet Chocolat, we prefer to work with drops like that. So we've got different types of dark chocolate, we've got different types of milk chocolate, only one type of white chocolate. But what do? We take drops, put it in a heating machine like this, what we call a tempéreuse, raise the temperature to 44 degrees Celsius. Now this is an old one. This is more than 40 years old, this machine, but it still does a job, and it's very good for the demonstrations. In our workshops we've got more modern machines with fountains. We've even got the latest model, and this is absolutely fantastic. Job is very easy. You just need to put the mold, and the machine does the rest. So with jet, the right dose, it's very easy. Quite expensive. But this is the best to show. So why do we need those discs? Well, in fact, in chocolate is cacao butter. The cacao butter is fat. That's the lightest substance. Well, it will be, if you do not use this at a certain moment, the cacao butter will come on top. And that's not what you want. It needs to be blended. That's why we need those discs. Now, when we put the drops in it, we raise the temperature to 44 degrees Celsius. Something like that. Not really high, otherwise it burns, you taste it directly, but not really less either, otherwise it takes too long to melt. And when everything is melted, the chocolate will have the temperature of the machine, 44 degrees Celsius, which is too hot to work with and too liquid. So we need to do something. We take 2 fat out and spread 2 fat open on a cold stone. Marble, for instance, this is marble, is a cold stone. There are also types of blue stones and so on, there are cold stones. That means, in fact, when you go out, you can put your hand here, you will feel that this is a lot colder than the rest of the room. So that means if you take chocolate to 44 degrees, you spread it open on a cold stone table like that, there will be a thermic shock. And that thermic shock will help for the sugar inside of the chocolate to crystallize. The crystallization of the sugar gives you 2 things. One, a more shiny chocolate, 2, a crisp material chocolate. Because as we make shells, pralines are fine shells we are filling inside. When you bite in the praline, it must be crispy, it must be crunchy. It's flat, it's not what you want. That's also your crispy thanks to the crystallizations of the sugar. 2/3, 1/3 still stays inside. And then you take the 2/3 back, mix it or blend it with the 1/3 still inside. And ideally, for dark chocolate, you've got a temperature of 33 degrees Celsius. For white and milk chocolate, it's a bit lower because there is more fat in it. But for dark chocolate, 33 degrees Celsius. And that is a very easy trick to know if your temperature is correct. If you take chocolate, you put it on your lips, dark chocolate, and it's the same, you've got the ideal temperature. Because know that your lips are always a bit colder than the rest of your body. Your body is 36, 37 degrees Celsius. Well, here in Belgium, I don't know in the States. 96 Fahrenheit, but it's the same temperature. But your lips are always a bit cold. So it's the same temperature as your lips, dark chocolate. And if the temperature is correct, you can start to work. Know that this is for us crucial. If the sugar didn't crystallize and your temperature is too hot or too cold, you will never have a good result. Well, maybe time now to show. Is there somebody who would like to fill this?
Oh, come on, somebody's got to volunteer.
Come on then. Best that you take your jacket off. If you've got something. Oh, no, you've got something.
The camera's out. Hello.
I'm around the food.
She's it's my size. So,
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Alright, what is your name?
Brian.
Brian.
Brian. But you would have been a woman, I would say, wow, fantastic, but I don't know what to do. Alright, are you right or left-handed? Right-handed. Well, best of all is that you take it in your left hand. You can follow on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Best of all is that you take it in your left hand. Keep it straight, not like this, otherwise you're unable to feel it. Don't put your tongue here either. Here you are. I'm going to give you a spoon full of chocolate in your right hand. You can take it, yeah? And you start to fill us from your tongue. Those three needs to be filled for sure. When you are there, you continue to here. When you are here, you can stop. You will understand why. And you don't need to fill hole by hole. You can pour the spoon on the mold. All right, thank you. I'm going to give you a spatula. There you are. In your right hand, you start as on your tongue. A bit like this, and you pass over the mold. You will see that you will fill all the holes that are not filled yet.
It's like a magic trick.
You can do it one more time as from your tongue. Alright, and also the sides. Okay, with chocolate.
Hey, bring up. Did you watch the game?
And the other side, yeah.
Does that thumb show anything?
A bit more chocolate. Alright, thank you. I'm going to take it over because now we need to do something which is a bit difficult, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this spatula. Now we need to do something very important with the chocolate now. Because some of you have made it noticed already that sometimes in chocolate you've got small little holes. This is because there is still air in the chocolate, so the air needs to evaporate. Or we vibrate it like this. And the air will evaporate. We can also do like this is the same. Here and there some air bubbles will come. And when they are finished, the air bubbles, that means that you will not have holes in the chocolate. Otherwise you can have small little holes. And imagine that you put a filling that is a bit liquid, well the filling will pass through the cutting. So that's why we need to do this, otherwise you can have holes. Of course the job is not finished yet, because you need to obtain a shell, and here is too much chocolate. So you come back to the heating machine, and you do like this. The more you tap, the finer your shell will be. The less you tap, the thicker it will be. But at a certain moment it stops from itself. And why does it stop from itself? Because the chocolate is hotter than the plastic. So the chocolate will crystallize. Now, when I tap it, you see, all will fall. So at a certain moment I decide to stop, so I turn it around, passing the spatula. And this is your result. Those are your shells. That you put in the fridge. It depends, when it's cold enough in the room, leave it in the room. But we will put it in the fridge because here it's never cold enough. So 20 minutes. What will happen in the fridge will be a bit harder. No, it's the same chocolate as this one. Like this you would say milk chocolate. That's not the case, it's dark chocolate. This one. So you get darker also when it becomes colder. Now that we put in the fridge, 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes you can prepare a ganache. Chocolate cream. What is your favorite alcohol? Rum. For you, rum? Rum? Alright, with rum. Chocolate cream and rum. Now you put it in a bag like this. No ganache. And when they are hot, 20 minutes later, you fill them one by one. But you will never fill them completely. You always leave an opening of 2 millimeters. Why do you think?
So you put another flavor.
Exactly, yeah. See, a bunch of clever people here. So, now sometimes people say, yeah, because it will swallow, not swallow, swell. So 2 millimeters. But your ganache is also liquid. So So, back in the fridge. 20 minutes. Then you come back, you put one extra layer on top to close, but that's also liquid. So once again in the fridge, once again 20 minutes. So to make one mold like this, we need a bit more than 1 hour. And we only make one mold an hour. If you want to make, for instance, a little man like this, you know him? Saint Nicolas, Santa Claus, Christmas and so on. It's on the 6th of December that we celebrate him. He's the patron saint of the children. So, where we want to make this? When Santa Claus asks to us, do you want to make? We say, yes, of course, Santa Claus. So, and we make it. We take some clamps to keep everything tight. We fill it full with chocolate. Don't forget to vibrate, to evaporate the air, otherwise you've got holes. You turn it around. You tap on it, the chocolate is too much would fall. And once again, between the difference, because of the difference of temperature in the plastic, difference of temperature in chocolate and the plastic, enough chocolate will stick. You put a piece of paper on it, put it in the fridge. Half an hour later, you get it out of the fridge, you open it, you got it in the fridge. Only when the sugars have crystallized at the temperature was high. If that was not the case, it would be very difficult. If you want to have different colors, for instance white, you want to have a white bear, well imagine that you got a heating machine here with white chocolate, with a pencil you go with the heating machine, you color it where you want. The beard, the hair in the back, you put it in the fridge. It will get brown. Then you get it out of the fridge and you do exactly the same. Put it in the fridge and you will see that afterwards the colors will be together. Every other color than white, milk chocolate or dark chocolate, as a base we use white chocolate. And in that we do comestible, so eatable products.
Food coloring.
Food coloring.
Food coloring?
Food coloring. Food coloring. But comestible, of course. Food coloring. As base, always white. So, well, I think I can tell you a lot more about chocolate, but it's on purpose to do my job, of course. So, there is still that small documentary that I spoke about. I'm going to put it now. It will last 6 to 7 minutes. And in the meantime, I can pass you some honey. If you want, you don't need to take honey. I come back directly. I'm going to give you a paper for your hands.